everybody, and welcome to KRiKI CLUB. You're watching here. I'm from Israel, so don't laugh at my accent, and I might get a little bit of a few words not correct. And today here with me is Zack Armstrong, a tremendous, a very good name you got.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good to talk to you, man.
Good to talk to you. So, for the people that might, be in the United States or the few Jews that you have there, and you might have heard of the thing called birthright, taglit,
Yep.
as they call it here in Israel. So this is where I met Zack, and I'm very glad to talk to him. You know, in these crazy times, it's a good thing to have a throwback for an old friend. And Zack here today is going to explain us as the recruiter of cybersecurity business, a little bit of the inside of cybersecurity, get just us to know a little bit the cybersecurity business better, and also, and if you're looking for being an employee as a cybersecurity agent or what you call it, um, you can get the insights of the business and consider for yourself the future of your career and what you need to look up for. So, Zack, for the people that might not know you, could you introduce us to the life of Zack?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you did a great job there, summarizing it. My name's Zach. I live Arlington, Virginia, so I'm right outside of DC. And I met David at when I was in Israel for Birthright. So yeah, like you said, it's always cool to connect with old connections here during these crazy times. But yeah, I do cybersecurity recruiting, cybersecurity focused. So working with I work for a smaller company. We work with larger companies who hire us to help them find very specific cybersecurity professionals. Various different types of there's so many different types of cybersecurity professionals and jobs. So we cover a lot of those, and always learning the newest trends and things like that. So it's pretty exciting.
That's beautiful. So you really do know the insides of the business. You do really know what the companies are looking for.
Yeah, the companies we're working with, at least, for sure. I get to see what their most important hires are and what their important needs are. Sometimes why they have those needs. Sometimes they get breached. They get hacked. Some information is let out, and they need someone to help them repair that. So it's, that's not ever good when that happens. So it's kind of cool to hear about when those types of things are happening. And you'd be surprised how much it does happen.
I'm sure nowadays it's going up the trend of hacking and getting information, and people are always trying to outsmart the hackers. You probably have big contracts, right? You say contracts? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit, or is it a hush?
About some of the
contractors
that are with the government, you're saying?
Private or government?
Yeah, it's very different depending on who it is we're working with. Like I said, there's so many different avenues of cybersecurity that no two cybersecurity jobs are the same. So there's so many. There's people that are defending. There's people on the offense. There's people that are in the middle. They call it red team, blue team. Depends what it is. So it's just very different depending on what the need is or the job is.
I asked. Let me shorten my question a little bit. I asked, can you tell us who are you working with?
Oh, like some of our clients.
Yeah, clients. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we do some work with the government. Nothing exciting there. We work with Sony is a company we work with. We work with Hilton. They're a company we work with. A lot of tech startups in the United States. Even some Israel-based. I don't know if you know where like the cybersecurity capital of the world is Tel Aviv.
Really?
Uh,
Well, I know
yeah,
we are quite a good in that, and we know we also got few good hackers that do the dirty work also.
yeah, yeah. No, there's a lot of the tech, like a lot of the tech startup companies we work with, are based in Tel Aviv, or they have a team in Tel Aviv. If they're not based in Tel Aviv, they'll have somebody in Tel Aviv because you have to if you want to make it. That's where everyone is.
So beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it sounds like you're got a busy work, especially in these kind of days when everything is getting crazier and crazier by the day. We'll get back to that
Yeah.
about the current climate, but first let's keep it simple. Even let's keep it that simple. The next question I'm going to ask you, Einstein said it something like, if you can explain something to your child to a child, that shows you know what you're talking about, something like that. So for the simple-minded people that don't know what cybersecurity is, could you explain us what is cybersecurity as you would explain it to a child?
Yeah, I guess the easiest way to say that is how I explain cybersecurity to a child is like police officers for the internet or for the computer. That's like the easiest way to break it down. And you even have you could look at it as you have undercover police officers. They call those in the cyber world, they would be like pen testers, I guess, who are trying to get people to do things that maybe they aren't supposed to do. You have just regular police officers patrolling and making sure. Then you have investigators, forensics teams, things like that, who are investigating a breach that has happened or something like that, and can just really break it down and reverse it. So it's sort of, it is kind of like the police team, but not just a police officer. Detectives, investigating things and things like that. All of that you see on these TV shows, things like that, like police teams and things like that. You take that and put it to the internet, and that's sort of what the whole cybersecurity umbrella, I would say, is how you could explain that to a child.
That's a beautiful explanation of the.
Yeah.
That's a challenge, Sometimes people like to get really complicated terms and all these kind of things, and this is really simplifying things. So thank you. And for the more serious questions, this video is going to be called Cybersecurity 101, not exactly because the title is already taken. What are the fundamental things that people need to understand in cybersecurity? Because if I'm like a new business owner, or I'm looking to build my new startup. You said you work with startups. What are the fundamental things as an outsider, not as an insider in the subject? What are the fundamental things that an outsider needs to understand about cybersecurity?
I would say that the most important thing to understand about cybersecurity is that anybody, it could happen to anybody. You could get breached. It happened to me. And I'm not by any means, I would say, I'm not a cybersecurity professional myself. I do cybersecurity recruiting. But still, I work with it closely enough that I should know that, there's phishing emails, phishing links, things like that. If you don't know what that is, it's someone sends you an email. They disguise the email to look like it's something that it's not. You click the link, and then next thing you know, they can get into your computer, email anyone on your email list, and get all the information, things like that. So, people think that it's, they don't have to worry about it because they're a small company, and it's not going to happen to them. But realistically, it could easily if you're not careful. So for someone that's starting a new company, whatever company it is, not even a cybersecurity company, but it could be a retail company, a media company, you need to think about cyber, because you don't want your clients who are giving you information that maybe isn't supposed to be out there getting their information stolen because you got breached. and you clicked on a link or something like that. So definitely taking measures to make sure that doesn't happen to you. No matter what size your company is, something you got to think about for sure.
So you're saying better safe than sorry, in general.
Yeah,
And
always. Like I said, it happened to me. I clicked on a link. Somebody sent me an email, and I clicked on a link. Next thing you know, everyone in my contact list got an email saying, "Hey," from this person, whoever it was, "Hey, click this link." Also trying to get into their computers, and I had to shut my computer off, log out of everything. I had to get a new computer. We had to get all these new email protective things. I had to spend a week emailing everybody back, apologizing, telling them it wasn't me. It was a disaster.
so you know firsthand how does it feel. So
Yeah, it's not fun.
yeah, to put it in simple terms. So you said it, you know how it feels. You said um, it is like policing policing police officers in the internet. And now we will look a little bit to the perspective of a new employee, that someone that might just finish his computer science degree, looking for a cybersecurity job, and he might be lost. Let's get into the character of a lost computer scientist or an engineer of some sort. What are companies looking for in a new employee?
What are they looking for in a new employee? I guess that really depends. What if they're looking for entry level, intermediate level, senior level. If it's entry level, they're probably looking at education, where you went to school, what your degree was in. If intermediate, senior level, they want to see previous relevant working experience, what you've done, what companies you work for. Somebody that has been at a small company, 10, 15, 30 people, that wants to go to 1,000-person company, maybe isn't always the best thing, because they're so different. So companies are always looking for that. And also their environments are different. So if you're doing cyber for a tiny company, then you jump to a large company, it's a different environment. It could be something that you hardly even know. So previous relevant experience, that's like the biggest thing I tell people all the time is, you have 10 years of experience doing one thing. That doesn't mean you're qualified for this. It has to be relevant experience. What have you been doing that's the same as what they're looking for?
And so that's a very interesting answer. I also saw when I researched to ask the question themselves and to understand a little bit of the subject, I saw a lot of people that in the business itself saying, if you're not serious, don't get into it. That's like a major point, because if you're doing something like that, a little bit of there, a little bit of that, do not get into the business. So you're saying, is this are they looking for the most serious programmers, the most serious people that know how to activate stuff, or some companies are looking for I'm talking about the soft. You said soft engineer. How do you call it?
Software.
Soft recruits or something like that.
You mean
beginner
software
level? How did you call it?
Oh, intermediate or senior?
Senior.
Yeah.
So senior. When you're looking for seniors, is it can someone just go and begin his career, with just a little bit of experience, or he does even? God damn my English today,
Your English is great, man.
Yeah. So the simple question is, someone after a simple degree, not in the most fanciest university, can actually start cybersecurity job anywhere?
Sure. Not anywhere, but somewhere. Sure, there'll be an entry level job, and that's what we call it here. I don't know what you call it there, but entry level means that you've never done it before. Maybe you studied it in school, but you also have to realize you're not going to be getting paid the big bucks yet. you gotta work your way up there to start making the money that you're gonna eventually want to be making. But you gotta start somewhere, and you gotta realize that. But it's a great industry to get in. It's definitely recession proof. It's COVID proof. Everyone, I think even during COVID, people needed cybersecurity more than ever because all these companies that were always working in an office all day, every day, all of a sudden now out of nowhere, everyone's working from home with no notice. From a cybersecurity perspective, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Because they don't have
working from home.
Yeah, if the company wasn't prepared for that, if they've never all worked from home before, and now all of a sudden like that, everybody's working from home every day, it makes them a lot more vulnerable to getting breached, getting their information leaked. So they had to step up and take a lot of preventative measures to make sure that they're not, they're still secure and they're not going to get breached just because now they're not in the office, they're working from home. Especially with a lot of the government workers who have their secure laptops and things like that, them all next thing you know, working from home every day is not something they were planning for.
So you just started to talk about something that I really wanted to ask you. So you said working from home now during COVID times is a security threat for a lot of employers because people are working at home, they're working with their laptops or their computers, and they're more vulnerable to hacks. So what are the trends that in the cybersecurity world that people need to look up to? There is also politics. I would want you to go into politics, even though I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm asking, the consideration. What are the threats of China maybe, or Russia? It's an election time. What are kind of companies need to get their red signs warnings, and stuff like that? And what are the trends that people need to look up to as a business or even as an individuals that working for an important company?
And the trends, you mean like what am I seeing like as of right now?
Yeah.
That's the big thing right now, just because of COVID, that all of a sudden everybody is just working from home all the time. It changes. They have a lot of companies who don't have typically before COVID didn't have a lot of work from home, remote work flexibility, now have to have everybody remote. All of a sudden, they weren't prepared for that. They don't have the infrastructure set up to make sure that everyone's safe doing that people aren't going to get breached. A lot of times they have these very secure systems in place at the office that keeps everyone safe. But as soon as everyone just goes home, I've known people that work for the government. They, before this, weren't even allowed to take their laptops home. They had to leave them in the office when they would go home. And now all of a sudden they have to bring them home for still, months now. It creates a different scenario where these people have to think about how they're making sure everyone's staying safe from cyber attacks and things like that. And they're not going to be getting hacked and things like that, and information leaked out, which has happened a lot to a lot of companies through this. They've been getting a lot of companies have been susceptible to getting breached.
You also told me that you had your experience of getting hacked with your business. So you got any tips for people to prevent the actual, maybe certain softwares or certain new recruits that you need to look up for?
Yeah, there's always softwares. We have one now. After I clicked on my link, my whole company now has a email protection that we had to get in place. The biggest tip I would say, just from a user's perspective, is if you don't know who this email is from, if you get an email, you don't know who sent it, it looks weird, don't click a link in there. Another thing you do is you get an email has a link in it, you can put your mouse over it and hover over it without actually clicking it. And if when you hover over a link, it'll sort of pop up the full link.
Yeah.
next to your mouse.
Yeah.
And if that is different, very different than what it looks like on the email, then you know it's fake. It's not a real thing, and it's a scam. Just don't click it. But I would say the easiest thing to do is if you're unsure, and even it could even be from somebody that you know, because the time I got hacked, he went into my computer, and from me, whoever this person was sending emails to everyone in my contact list with a link on it, and people were responding to me saying, "Zach, is this you? Is this you sending me this link?" And I'm sitting there trying to respond to everyone, "No, it's not me, don't click it." And I could see the response coming in from whoever this was saying, "Yes, it's me. Yes, it's me. Click the link." And anyone that clicked it, then he was into their thing too. So even if it's from somebody that you know in your contact list, but maybe it looks a little suspicious, it doesn't look like it's right, don't click on it, because it may be someone that hacked into their email. And and I've gotten emails too from my colleagues who I thought it was from them, but it looked weird. I didn't click it, and I asked them, "Did you send me an email with a link in it?" And they say, "No, that wasn't me." I say, "Oh God, thank God I didn't click it. I learned my lesson."
So that's a really good tip you said there. Hovering above the link itself, look if it matches the actual line of the link.
Yeah, because
That's
sometimes
it's a very simple thing. You don't need to download anything. You just need to 1 second look, and it's a beautiful tip, you know. Also, email protection. If I will expand this enterprise of KRiKI CLUB, I will very strongly protect this all email things.
I definitely recommend it if you can.
Also, I one time I witnessed it in Facebook. I had 2 people sending me the same exact message. So if people sending you the same exact message, that's a real big red flag for me, at least, and it should be for everyone, because
a
lot
of people get through the Facebook Messenger too and do it, and they'll make it look legit. I've gotten emails before where it looks like it's coming from Pizza Hut, and it says Pizza Hut, click here to receive 1 free pizza, and I'll look at it, and it's like the email address isn't from Pizza Hut, but they make the actual email look like it's from Pizza Hut. You know, it has the logo on the top, everything like that, pictures of pizza in it. But then you see the email address, it's just a bunch of numbers and letters and random things. You say, this isn't actually from Pizza Hut.
Yeah, also you not just remind me that people using also for marketing SMS messages. So also in the SMS messages, it's a very big opening for kind of the hacks for your phone also, which is very dangerous thing, you know. In your basically for people now, their phone is a kind of a big part of their life. They can't take it off anywhere, so get unconnected to it, just put it aside. So hacking your phone is a bad deal.
Yeah, you don't want to get your phone hacked.
So pretty much we talked about the big things. I want to get just a little bit more in the politics, because you guys go into elections in the United States, and what is going to happen in these elections is going to affect a lot of people in the whole world, not only in the United States, because you know you got the Silicon Valley, which they have the biggest companies ever, like and what the decisions, you know, if Trump is going that way or Biden is going that way. I don't want to get into your specific things in politics, but can you give any kind of predictions if the United States is going one way or the other way? What happens if Trump is winning, and what happens if Biden is winning? Will win or?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely very crazy. I mean, it's very confusing because you don't know what. I mean, we're like 2 weeks out now from the election. We'll find out soon. I have my mail-in ballot right here. I haven't sent it in yet, but everyone has different predictions. I mean, people send photos of the Trump rallies and how they're packed, and there's all these people there. And the Biden rallies, you know, he tries to have it, nobody shows up, and they say, look, the polls are fake because look at all these people showing up here, and nobody's showing up here, but to Biden's. But the polls say otherwise, that Biden's way ahead, which I think is more accurate in my opinion. You know, Biden has a lot of supporters. Obviously, they both have a lot of supporters. They can both fill a gymnasium or a stadium if they want to. I mean, anyone can fill up a stadium. It doesn't mean they're going to win the election. So people are posting all these pictures of Trump filling up stadiums. But I mean, the Trump supporters, in my opinion, are just a lot more vocal. They're loud. They like to show that they're supporting him, when Biden supporters maybe don't care to wear the shirts and the hats and things like that, or put it on their car, say they're supporting Biden. So that's maybe why you see a lot more Trump stuff. Well, you don't know because you don't live here. But, you know, I went to the beach in August, and for the first time in my life, I pull up and I see a store, an actual store on the beach that said Trump merchandise. And Trump hats, shirts, car flags, lanyards, all this stuff. The whole store is just Trump merchandise. Like, you've never seen that before any election. You've never seen that for Obama. You've never seen that for Bush. You've never seen that for anybody. He's the first president that has something like that. So they're definitely just like more vocal. So that's why you hear them a little bit more than other supporters. But
but
I don't know.
I'm asking especially, you know, I don't want your prediction of who is going to win. I want your prediction on what will happen if Biden wins, and what will happen if Trump wins in the cyber security, or in the entire, you know, web security on the bigger picture, looking at, you know, if there is more hacks, there is more deregulation maybe, or more regulation, less companies in the United States, more companies in the United States. If you know anything about their policies and their effects on the private sector.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I know enough to say like what is going to be the effect of either one of them winning from like a cybersecurity perspective or anything like that. I don't really know. That's a tough one. It's hard to predict something like that, because you never know. And also, I mean, every candidate, whether you like them or not, you know, they say whatever they want, whatever they need to say to get elected, and it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to do that when they get in office. So whatever they're all saying now, it doesn't really matter. Because it may or may not happen once whoever it is gets elected. But I don't know what the effects from like a cyber perspective would be. That's difficult to say.
All right, okay, it's a fair answer. My prediction, I am just throwing it, you know, I'm not really a citizen of the United States. I really would wish that I will have a green card one day. Maybe I'm burning it right now while I'm speaking, but you know, I think if Biden wins, they're gonna get some more censorship. And
sure.
For people that are depending on content creating, you would definitely have a lot of troubles using your internet and your free speech at the internet in some sort of way. So just a prediction. So last question is more of a fun question. You know, they're not. You don't need to have prior knowledge to it. As Zach, not as your profession, not as anyone, as Zach yourself, do you have any message for the people at home watching this?
People where?
People mostly from the United States, maybe in Israel, you know, all over.
I was gonna say from the United States or in Israel. I don't know.
Let's focus. My crowd is more from Israel, but let's hope that a few U.S. citizens will watch it. You're more familiar with the United States population. So let's stay with the United States. A message to the U.S. citizens.
About cyber.
As Zach, you know, you can say.
I would say vote.
Huh?
Go vote.
Go vote.
Either way or another.
Right.
And wear a mask.
All right. So simple messages. Thank you, Zach. It was a wonderful conversation. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
man, it was great catching up.
Yeah. What?
No, I said it was great catching up.
Great catching up, and I hope people will get some value from this conversation. If you want to tune in, you are more than welcome to subscribe and hit the button down below. And you know, when you're doing this kind of conversation all the time, if you have any more suggestions, how to improve this, I'm also looking for more information and what you guys are looking for, what kind of conversations. And thank you again, Zach, very, very much. Goodbye.
Thanks, man.